Hi, my name is Mike Martin, and I want to show you a tool that I developed. It's called the Bale Tamer. What this tool is designed for is to control the expansion of a bale of hay when we open it, to keep it from going all over the ground. The way the tool is used is we're going to insert it down here below, and I'll show that to you later. But for demonstration purposes, we've got two sets of hay, two pallets set with two bales each, and they're identical, so that we're going to open one first, this one here, and you'll see how it goes all over the ground when we open the bale of hay. We've all experienced that. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll compare it with the bale using our tool. I'm going to use my sheepfoot blade, and in one stroke in the middle, so that we can compare them, I'm going to cut the string. Here goes. Okay, so we see the hay went on the ground. We have a couple here that are teeter-tottering, getting ready to go, but fortunately they've stayed there where they have easy access. So now let's move over to our other set of two bales set up so that we can demonstrate how to use the tool. We're going to be opening this bale of hay. We're going to use two tools. We're going to insert one at each end of the bale that's below our bale to be opened. We're going to be inserting the tools right here at about this angle. I'm going to raise it up here so that you can see what we're looking for when we insert the tool. We're going to be going into the top corner of the bale of hay that's below. We're looking for this surface right here to be level with the top of the bale of hay. This allows for expansion for the bottom of the hay. When it opens, the bottom of the bale will expand while the top will expand all the way over to the top of our tool. If we insert the tool looking for our 45, but we see that this expansion piece is pointing up in the air, then we know we've got it wrong. So what we want to do is look for this to be level. One other point, if we had our hay stacked to where I'm going to open a bale of hay going lengthwise this way, and I'm going to stick it into the side of the hay, if I was to stick it exactly in the corner, I could have a problem. See, this lower bar right here, this lower flat bar, is designed to sit on top of the hay. That supports the tool. So I'm going to stick that thing in about an inch, and look how solid we are. That's what we have to do. So make sure that the top of the flat bar is on the top of the bale of hay. It only has to be in there about an inch or so for it to work. But for this purpose, we're sticking it in on the string side of the hay. I'm looking for a 45. I'm looking for this expansion bar to be flat. And in we go. Now let me insert the other one. Another thing to remember is that when we're putting it in, we try to miss your strings. It'll go through a string, but it makes it a little harder to push on. So here I am pushing in again. I had my level surface, my 45, plenty of room for expansion. So here we go. We're going to use the same blade on the pocket knife. And now watch and see the difference between what we saw before and with our Bale Tamer tool in use. Okay, so we saw it open about the same rate, but it stopped. It stopped, it allowed for the expansion on the bottom, and it stopped to the point where it's not on the ground and we can get to it. Now, if you notice, we have the tops of these flakes are visible now, and they're sectionalized. We can reach in there, find the one that wants to come out the easiest, and we can pull the flake of hay out, and it can be used. Now, I recommend that we don't try to start with this last flake, because if we do that, we kind of are pulling it apart. It's going to hold everything together. See, now we can pull another flake out, and another flake out, and then when we get comfortable that the rest of it's not going to fall on the ground, we can pull this last flake of hay out. And that's how we feed our horses using the Bale Tamer tool. There's one other thing I want to show you, an aspect of the tool, and that's how we can use this tool on the bottom bale going right into the pallet. Now we're going to use the Bale Tamer tool to open the bale of hay that's sitting on this pallet. But before we get started, there's a couple features of the tool I need to point out for you. Remember the flat bar? Well, this flat bar has two holes drilled in it right here and here, and that is critical for what we're about to do. If you notice right here, this hole is just the size of this 8-penny nail. So I'm going to insert that nail in that hole. Now that's what we do on each one once we get down to where we're going to be using the tool. So now I'm going to go be down here. I'm looking for the space between the slats that's nearest the end of the bale. And this right here will be my space right here. So for purposes of demonstration, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. I'm inserting the tool. I've got my 2 nails. I stick one in that hole and one in this hole, and that prevents the tool from coming all the way out. It locks it in place. So now we see that it's going to support the bale when we open it. So now let me go to the bale of hay, and I'll actually insert it. Now as I go over here to the bale of hay, I don't really see that space I was looking for, so I'm going to have to bump this bale of hay over a little bit. Now I have a real good view of the space, and I have plenty of room to work. I insert my first nail, and I insert my second nail. So now we're ready to go. And we're going to open the bale just like we did on the other demonstrations, right here in the middle. So there we go. We have the same effect that we saw when we used the tool in a lower hay bale, sticking right into the bale. And again, we have the expansion where you can pull your hay flakes out to feed. So that's how you use the tool on the lower bale that sits on a pallet. Well, thank you for your attention, and hope you enjoy feeding the way I feed, with less mess.